All right, we are on the record. It is October 1st, 2019. This is Judge. Oh, sorry. Where is the state? Okay.
Sit back and relax for a little bit.
Let me see if I can find out.
Thank you. Is Miss Kennedy Swanson here today?
I think she's supposed to be at the state today, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen her yet.
Okay. How's it going, Mr. Frederick?
It's going good.
Good.
They're
Good to
putting me in
see
tests,
you.
so I'm going through a lot of changes right now.
Good to see you.
Good to see
Welcome
you.
back.
Welcome back. It's been gone for like weeks.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning, team.
All right, we are on the record. It's October 1st, 2019. This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Copy Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Charles Frederick for the Public Defender.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
My name is Roberto Olivera.
All right, Mr. Alvarez, you're here in case number 2019 CF 13761AO. You're arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And you're not to return back to 2500 South Kirkman Road, that Walmart, okay? You can't have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case. I'll stay the bond at the 2500. I do have to advise you that you do have reporting requirements, okay, sir?
What?
Reporting requirements with regards to your address and that information, okay? Do you understand? If you have any questions, you can ask Mr. Frederick about that.
Okay, so you can ask the attorney for bond, which you can't afford. This way.
All right, good morning. Please tell me your name, sir.
Danny Gills.
All right, Mr. Gills, you're here in 2019 MO 1668. You were arrested for an open container violation. I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Do you want to see if the state has an offer to resolve your case?
Yes, I want to resolve it
Okay.
today.
Well, we'll try and do that.
Adjudication credit for time served.
So it's an adjudication of guilt and credit for time served. I believe you have 2 days, so and I'd have to impose court costs. I'll give you a year to pay those off, okay?
Ma'am,
Is that what you want to do?
tell me again.
I said I'll give you a year to pay your court costs off, but it's a credit for time served offer. Do you want to accept?
So I got to pay money?
And I'll give you a year to pay that off. It's court costs, okay?
What would that be?
I think it's 220, is it 223?
Probation or something?
No probation,
Okay.
okay? All right, we'll have you sign the plea form.
And I can leave today?
Yeah?
Okay.
I don't know when they'll process you, okay?
Mhm.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Gills, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything that was contained in the plea form?
I got a year to pay $220 off.
Okay, well, that's not everything that's in the plea form. The plea form talks about all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea and appellate rights and things of that nature. Did you understand everything that you read in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all those rights that you're giving up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation. Is that a yes?
Yes.
So you understand?
I
Okay.
understand.
All right, I do find a factual basis for acceptance of the plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose those court costs, and I'll order that you pay those by October 1st, 2020. That gives you a year, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. All right? Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Roberto, Perez, Betancourt.
All right, Mr. Perez Bentacore, you're here in 2019 MM 650AA. You're arrested for battery. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you are not to return back to the Wawa at 1615 South Orange Blossom Trail. No contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I'll stay the bond at the 500. Okay? All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
I'm Janine Maurice Galliani.
All right, Ms. Galliani, you're here in 2019 MM 8030AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
There was, Your Honor. The state conveyed an offer of adjudication credit time served and no return to scene. May I just have a moment to go over that with Ms.
Absolutely.
Scaglione? Okay. So, adjudication field needs to be on your record. Credit time served needs to be released today. No return to the scene. That's something you want to do? Okay. Now, have you read this one before?
Yes,
Okay, so you can sign right there. Just gonna go over the plea form.
Thank you.
You have any questions?
All right, ma'am, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything that was contained in the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you find a factual basis based on the affidavit? I'll accept your plea, I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You can't go back to the 7-Eleven at 938 West Colonial Drive, okay? You gotta abide by the trespass warnings.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do have to impose court costs. I'll order that you pay those by October 1st, 2020, okay?
Okay, thank
If
you.
you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you, ma'am. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a great afternoon.
You too. All right, good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Lee Washington,
All
ma'am.
right, Mr. Washington, you're here in 2019 MM 8022AO. You're arrested for trespass in an occupied structure. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I don't know if the state will have an offer today on this case.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, ordering that you're not to return back to 6311 Graylin Street or have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses in the case. And I do have to advise you that you also have reporting requirements, okay, Mr. Washington? So you need to comply with those if you're in the Orange County Jail. And I'll stay the bond at the 500. All right, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Miles Lomax.
All right, Mr. Lomax, you're here in a couple cases, 2019 CF 13718AO, and you were arrested for burglary of a conveyance. In that case, I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in the case. And you're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness. You're not to return back to 12846 Lower River Boulevard. And the bond will stay set at the 3,500. In 2019 CF 13724AO, you're arrested for burglary of a conveyance. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the PD to represent you in the case as well. No contact with any listed victim or witness. And you may not return back to 885 Ferry Landing Lane. And the bond will stay at the 3,500. In 2019 CF 13717AO, you're arrested for burglary of a conveyance and grand theft third degree. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the PD to represent you in the case. And again, no contact with any listed victim or witness. No return back to the location of the offense. Appears that is not so sure where it is. Well, you can't return back to where the offense occurred. And I'll appoint the PD if I didn't already say that, and the bonds will stay at $3,500 and $150. It looks like you're also out on release or bond in two cases, 2019 CF 1307 and 2019 CF 7065 AO. I'm revoking those bonds and setting them at none. And it looks like you do have attorneys in the cases, and they can file any motions to set bond for you in those cases.
So, last two cases are on approach. Obviously, we can call that numbers to work out. That's how I'll call that. Okay. Is it the new ones right here? Yeah, these are the old ones, yeah. These 3 pages. Right, all right.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Andrew Small.
All right, and Mr. Wiseman?
Simon Wiseman on behalf of Mr. Small.
All right, Mr. Wiseman, have you filed a notice of appearance? Are you planning on it?
I am planning on it, Your
Okay.
Honor. I just got hired last night.
Okay,
so
excellent.
I will do so,
All right,
yeah.
and then Mr. Small, you are here in case number 2018 CF 11737AO, and the state has filed an information in the case. And a judge did find probable cause for the offense of sexual battery on a child under 12 and lewd or lascivious molestation, a victim less than 12 years of age. And you do have an attorney here representing you, and I believe count 1 is a capital offense and count 2 is a life felony. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you want to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor, we believe that the defendant should be held at no bond on counts 1 and 2 based on proof evidence presumption grade. I believe it's 64 pages in the clerk's site that was filed with the probable cause.
I read.
Affidavit. I know I gave the defense counsel just a moment because I didn't print the entire thing. I just printed part of the original police report, which had the control phone calls and her testimony summarized in it. The allegation, I guess, she now lives in Pennsylvania, where that when they were living here in Orange County, the defendant and the victim shared a bedroom. They're half siblings. She was 9 at the time. She was 14 at the time of the interview in 2017. She disclosed that on numerous occasions she would wake up to the defendant having his fingers inside of her. The victim stated that when she would wake up, he would say a cockroach had gone into her panties, and that's what he was getting out. At one point, she says that she liked to have press-on nails of some sort. So he said if he could blindfold her, then he would take her to get from Walgreens these press-on nails. She said she stuck her tongue out. She doesn't know if she touched his private parts or something, but her tongue clearly touched something. And then he took her to get the press-on nails from Walgreens. At one point, she disclosed not the sexual nature of the touching, but of touching on the leg to her mother. Her mother then, their mother, removed the defendant from the room and put him in a spare bedroom, so they no longer shared a room. I believe there were a number of controlled phone calls where the victim tries to get the defendant to admit what he'd done. One of them, I guess it becomes a heated argument. I guess he has a minor child, to where he says that she was trying to get his minor daughter taken away from him. In full disclosure, at no point does he confess in the controlled phone calls I've read where he did it. He just denies it or says, why are you asking me this? Or I'd rather see you in person to talk about it and not talk about it over the phone. Based on that information, Your Honor, the number of incidences and the victim's recollection, we believe the defendant should be held at no bond, no contact with the victim and the victim's family. I understand that they share a parent, however, no contact, as she's a witness in some of the allegations of touching and disclosure. No contact with any minor children under the age of 18, except for his child. The state would have no addition to that being at least supervised contact with his minor child under the age of 18. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no firearms.
All right, Mr. Mr. Wiseman, any argument?
Yeah, I do have some argument, Your Honor. Obviously, based on what the state has said, this is purely a he said, she said. This is a reported sexual battery, lewd and lascivious, 5 to 6 years after the fact. It's our understanding that this all stemmed from an argument that occurred in the household, and as a result, she wanted to get back at her brother, the defendant. As the state indicates, at no time did he make any admissions to committing any of these crimes. Also should be noted that the victim in this case appears to have a fairly significant mental health history, which is indicated in the report itself. There is no physical or forensic evidence to support her allegations. I also have the victim's mother here today. The victim, or the alleged victim, is 15 years old. Her mother is here today. I'd like to elicit some testimony from her, if I could, Your Honor. Her name is Tina Small.
Okay.
There's a button underneath your desk, Your Honor, we learned that.
Sorry?
There's a button to open the door.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought they opened the door for them out there. Oh, okay. I saw somebody out there. There she is. All right, thank you. All right, thank you, ma'am. Can you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Yes,
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
All right.
Please
can you-
state your name for the record.
Tina Small,
Okay. And
May I
Mr.
begin, Your
Wise?
Honor? Thank you. Where do you live, Miss Small?
334 South Belmont Road, Paradise, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And what is your relationship to the defendant?
I'm his mom.
Okay. And you're the mother of Adriana, is that correct?
Yes,
And Adriana is the alleged victim in this case, is that accurate?
yes,
Okay. And she is the defendant's younger sister, is that correct?
yes.
Okay. How old is Adriana?
15,
Okay. And does she live with you currently?
yes,
Has she lived with you her entire life?
yes, she has.
Okay. Was there a time recently, within the last year or so, or even going back 2 years, where the relationship between the defendant and your daughter changed for any reason?
Yes, there was.
Can you tell the court about that, please?
You would object to relevancy, Your Honor.
Can you tell me why it's relevant?
It's relevant because this is what caused the report, or we believe caused the report of the allegations stemming back from 5 to 6 years ago.
I'll
So I think
allow
it's
that.
relevant in that regard.
Yes, everything was fine. For all these years, her and Andrew were fine. All the siblings have been fine, getting along. Then he was staying with us in Pennsylvania. She started complaining, starting arguments with him, saying that, oh, you leave mom's house a mess. You let your daughter run all over the place. You let her mess up the house. And she was like the one always starting the arguments that she really didn't want him there. She wanted him out. She was tired of him being there.
Obviously, you have known your daughter her entire life. We've heard about some mental health history reported in the information that we have. Was she, or did she go under any type of mental health care at some point in the last few years?
She was in a mental institution maybe 2 years ago.
And what was that related to?
She was suicidal.
Was there any diagnosis in that regard?
No.
Does your daughter have a tendency to bend the truth?
Yes.
Objection.
Okay. Is that based on your
Well,
experience?
Hold on.
Mine and other
Hold on,
people.
stop. Okay,
Sorry.
there was an objection and, okay, so what's the objection?
Or whether or not she bends the truth or not.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's speculation, but if she can answer based on firsthand knowledge that she's lied to her or bent the truth, then I don't know if you want to ask her about that or delve into it, but.
I can, and I was going to lay that predicate, Your Honor. She's.
I can give a perfect example of when she lied straight to my face. It was when the detectives came up from Florida They literally called her cell phone, had her sneak out of my house to meet them up the road. I thought she was in her bedroom, and when she walked through my front door, I asked her, "Where were you?" "Oh, I went for a walk." That's the time she lied straight to my face. That's one incident I can tell you right off the top of my head. And there are other times.
On behalf of your minor daughter, do you have an objection to the defendant getting a bond if the court would permit?
No, I don't
Your Honor,
have
state
no
would object to
objection.
that line of questioning. She is the mother of the defendant as well as the mother of the victim. And she's already testified that the victim at this point, according to her, has lied to her face when she tried to, just in this example, to meet with the Florida detectives regarding this case. I don't believe she's unbiased to give that opinion on whether or not on behalf of the minor child. And the minor child is not an 8-year-old. The minor child is, I believe, she said 15 as of today's date that can speak for herself.
Okay,
So
well,
we
I
object.
don't know whether or not her telling me whether she'd be objecting to a bond is, I'm gonna consider that. So it's not something that I need to consider.
Fair enough, Your Honor. And the only reason I asked the question is because she is the mother of the minor. So I think it's an appropriate question to ask. The state can argue bias. That's fine. I don't think it makes it an objectionable question, but I can move on, Your Honor. I understand the court's ruling in that regard. In the event a bond was granted in this case, how much could you as a family afford?
$1,000.
In the event that a bond is granted, where could your son reside?
He would be able to stay with my boyfriend.
Okay, and where does your boyfriend live relative to where you and your daughter live?
But he lives in Tough Kenneman, Pennsylvania, and that's about 45 minutes from my house.
Okay. And is he here today?
Yes, he is. He's out in the audience.
Okay. We see him in the audience there?
Yes.
Okay. Did you bring your son down here to Florida from Pennsylvania?
Yes, I
so
did.
that he could voluntarily turn himself in?
Yep.
Okay. Have you spoken with your daughter with regards to how she feels about the defendant getting a bond?
I had a conversation on the phone with her just last night.
Okay, and what were her feelings?
Objection, hearsay.
Well, it's a bond hearing, hearsay is admissible.
Is it okay to answer?
Yes.
Yes, okay. After Andrew had turned himself in, I had called my daughter to let her know what was going on because she wasn't even aware that I was coming to Florida. Now she's with my 20-year-old daughter, so she's not there, unattended. I did call her last night after he had turned himself in to let her know that he turned himself in. I told her, I asked her, I said, please don't talk to no law enforcement until I get home, and then you can. I just don't want you to talk to anybody until I get home. And she got confused. She said, well, you're telling me not to talk to them, but that I can talk to them. So I had to explain it to her again. And she told me that, she said, well, I don't know what they want me to say because I already told the state attorney that I don't want to proceed with this case any further.
Okay, well, I don't think that was responsive to your question.
Correct. The question was, did you...
I apologize.
That's okay. If you just listen. The question was, did you discuss with her whether she had any objection to the defendant getting a bond?
Doesn't have any objections. She said she doesn't want to see him in jail.
Okay. In the future, there's going to be court dates in this case.
Yes.
Will you personally ensure that your son will be present for any court date that is required of him in this case?
Yes, I will. I didn't bring him all the way down here for him to surrender himself. The bond amount for him to run. It cost me money to come here, money for an attorney, money for bond. Why would I do that if I'm not going to bring him back down here for court dates?
Okay. And he has voluntarily turned himself in on the bond?
Yes, he did, yes.
On the warrant, sorry. Okay. I have nothing further, Your
Okay,
Honor.
and Ms. Kennedy Swanson, do you have any questions for her?
No questions for the
Okay,
defendant's mother.
all right. Thank you, ma'am, for your testimony,
Thank
okay?
you.
No,
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right, and Mr.
Just
Wiseman, anything additional?
Nothing additional in terms of testimony, Your Honor. I'm not going to waste the court's time and call her boyfriend. Obviously, that's a residence that he can reside at should he go back to Pennsylvania. It's our contention that the proof is not evident and the presumption great. This is clearly a he said, she said situation without any physical or forensic evidence, and there certainly seems to be a reason as to why these allegations arose 5 to 6 years after the fact. In addition to that, Your Honor, the second prong of that is that he must present such a danger to the community that no pretrial release measure would be adequate, and that's an and, Okay, in this case, I believe there are certain measures that could be taken by the court to ensure that he returns to the court for any future court appearances, and it doesn't appear as though there's been any evidence produced by the state that he's such a danger to the community in this particular instance.
Ms. Kennedy Swanson?
Your Honor, I think, one, the argument by the mother, I think her bias is shown based on, one, telling the child, victim, not speak to law enforcement until she returns. Her example of when the child has been the truth was an example of her trying to speak to the detectives about this particular case, and she told her mom she was going, I believe she said for a walk, could be, whatever she said she was going to do was not the same as what she actually did. I think the victim may have said that based on obviously what her mother is doing in support of her brother. Your Honor, I believe that, obviously most cases are not done where it's a video camera and all these other things. And so this is a 9-year-old, now 14 at the time, now 15 today, saying that her brother, while they were in the same room, touched. Evidently the mom found it concerning enough that he had touched her, period, that they went from sharing a bedroom to no longer sharing a bedroom. So there was some concern of the original allegation before it was a sexual allegation at all. And so based on now also him being around a minor female child again, our concern would be also for that minor female child. Your Honor, if Your Honor is going to use her discretion, which again, state does not believe that Your Honor should, state will request a $100,000 bond as to each count. And obviously no contact, the no contact is with the victim and the witnesses as well.
Okay, I don't find proof, I read the whole thing this morning, and I don't find proof evident presumption great. And so, just based on what I have in front of me, and that's all the information that I've been provided. And that's what the judge looked at in signing the probable cause capias. So, Mr. Small, I am gonna order that you have no contact, directly or indirectly, with any victim in the case, okay? No contact with any witnesses in the case other than your mother, okay? Anybody else that's mentioned in the affidavit, you're not to have any of the documents provided to the state and defense counsel. You're not to have any contact with any of those other individuals. You're not to have any contact with any minor child under the age of 18, and you can have supervised contact with your child, okay? You're to reside with your mother's boyfriend, who I believe is out in the gallery in Pennsylvania. I don't know that specific address, but Mr. Wiseman, do you know that address? Or?
No, we could get that for Your Honor.
Okay. So, and we'll get that at the end, but you're to reside with him, and I don't know his name, but you're to reside with him, we'll get his name. You're to maintain separate residence from the victim. You're not to return to where the offenses occurred. You're not to possess any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You may not possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition in the case. And your bond on count 1 will be $100,000. I'll set count 2 at $50,000. And you need to make sure that you keep in touch with Mr. Wiseman, because if you're not living in Florida, you need to make sure you do not miss any court dates. If you miss any court dates that you're required to be at, unless counsel has a waiver for you, then it's likely that the judge will issue a warrant with no bond for your arrest. So you understand?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And I believe he's writing down the information for the court as to his name and address. I mean, if he wants to put the phone number down, I just need to know that that's the address that he's gonna be living at,
Yeah,
and the person's name. Do you have his name?
No, I think I'll write that down somewhere. It is, Your Honor, I know I wrote it down somewhere.
can ask your client, maybe?
That's probably, no, I know I wrote it down, Your Honor. I knew it was someone, Raymond McWilliams, Your Honor.
Okay. And so you're gonna be living with Raymond McWilliams at 957 Newark Road, Tufkeennomen, Pennsylvania, 19384, and we have a phone number here, I don't really need that, but, okay, and so that's where you're gonna be living and residing. You need to make sure that you don't miss any court dates and you keep in touch with your attorney, okay?
Yep.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be
all right.
excused?
Thank you so much for
Thank-
your patience
thank
today,
you,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Wiseman.
Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Thank you. Have a good day, Your Honor.
Huh? Yeah, that's just that. I'll put it on there.
This is you.
All right.
This is everyone. There you go.
David May is downtown court.
Okay, we'll reset. All right, can you tell me your name, sir?
Irvin Barrett,
All right, Mr. Barrett, you are here in 2019 CF 13766AO. You're arrested for trafficking in over 10 grams under 200 grams of meth or MDMA, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I don't believe that you're gonna qualify for the public defender. You make $1,100 a week?
yeah, I'm fine with the lawyer. I mean,
You make $1,100 a week?
yes,
Okay, and you don't have any children?
older and
Okay,
in
all
college.
right. So you don't qualify for the public defender. I cannot appoint them to represent you at this time. Okay, so you're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition, no illegal substances without a valid prescription, no contact with any witnesses in the case. And I'm gonna stay the bond at the 50,000 and 100 on counts 2 and 3. There's something in the affidavit about him being currently out on bond for trafficking in heroin over 28 grams, but looks like case number 2018 CF 10448GO, but I don't have that information. Let me see. So he is out on release in that case. The state's filed on it. And looks like there's a pre-trial on 11/5, case management 11/12, and trial on 11/18. And you're represented by Mr. O'Mara in that case?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you have that as an out on bond case? Okay, well, Irvin. Yeah, Irvin Barrett. So it's a Division 10 case. I am gonna revoke the bond at this time
Excuse me,
and
ma'am.
set that at 9. Yes, sir.
What I'm accused of, a guy's openly
I would
admitted me.
not talk about the facts of the case. That's not for today unless I've already found probable cause. It's probably not in your best interest to start talking about the facts or what you know about the case. That's for another day.
What's the other case, I'm sorry, Your Honor?
It's 2018 CF 10448GO. It's mentioned, the only reason I know about it is because it's the last paragraph of the affidavit. So he does have an attorney in that case, so Mr. O'Mara can file any motions for bond with Judge Adams in the case that I revoked on. You may want to speak to him about this new case. All right, sir? So I did tell you what your conditions of release are, and I did stay the bonds. All right? Do you have any Any questions? All right, sir, please tell me your name.
Sean Chetty.
Mr. Chetty, you're here in 2019 CF 7272. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found for aggravated battery, great bodily harm with a firearm, unlawful discharge of a firearm, and carrying a concealed firearm. And you do not, so you make $500 a week? Is that what your paycheck is?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what's your
Off
paycheck?
the tax. Off the tax.
Yeah,
Yeah, off the tax, I got 500.
after taxes is 500.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you're right, I mean, you're right there. So I'm gonna appoint the PD to represent you. All right, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no contact with any witnesses or any victims in the case. I am gonna stay the bond at 10,000 on count 1, 500 on count 2, and 2,500 on count 3.
You don't, if that's the case, you're just called attorney downtown, okay?
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Richard Daniels, ma'am.
Mr. Daniels, you're here in 2019 CF 13489AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, and probable cause was found for failing to report within 30 days as a transient sexual offender. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll stay the bond at the 2,500. You do have reporting requirements, sir, okay? You need to comply with those if you're in the Orange County Jail, okay? All right, please tell me your name, sir. Can you tell me your name, please?
Rico Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you're here in 2019 CF 13764AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of MDMA. If you find probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No illegal substances without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $1,000 and $150. And I won't take any action on the out on release case today, but I'll let you know if you come back and you have 2 out on release cases, chances are that those are gonna get revoked, okay? All right, sir, please tell me your name.
David Diaz.
All right, Mr. Diaz, you're here in 2019 CF 13729AO. You're arrested for burglary of a structure, grand theft, and criminal mischief over 200 under 1,000. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back to 1405 South Cimarron Boulevard, the Blue Water Express Wash, or have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. And the bonds will stay set at 3,500, 150, and 100. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Douglas Hubbell.
Okay, do we know what happened to Carlos Garcia Figueroa?
He's hospital, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset within 24 hours of his release. All right, Mr. Hubbell, you're here in 2019 CF 13742AO, and you're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling, burglary of a conveyance, and grand theft third degree, or grand theft, excuse me, of $100 or more from a dwelling or curtilage, and petty theft. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and in that case, you're not to return back to 5721 Lakefield Court, or have any contact with any listed victim or witness, no illegal substances without a valid prescription, and I'll stay the bonds at 5,000, 150, 150, and 100. In 2019 CF 13758 AO, you were charged with burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, and criminal mischief over 200 under 1,000. I do find probable cause. I'm ordering that you're not returning back to 5575 Long Lake Drive, or have any contact with any listed victim or witness, and no illegal substances without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 3,500, 100, and 100. I've appointed the public defender in that case as well as in the last case, 2019 CF 13757. You're charged with burglary of a conveyance and grand theft 3rd degree, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender, I think I said that. And you're not to return back to the location of where the offense occurred. No contact with any listed victim or witness, and no illegal substances without a valid prescription. The bond will be stayed at 3,500 and 150. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Peter Joseph Colva.
All right, Mr. Colva, you're here in 2019 CF 13142 AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause was found for failure to update a driver's license or identification card. That's count 2, sorry, as a sexual offender. Count 1 is failing to report or check in within 30 days as a transient sexual offender. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you do have reporting requirements. I do have to advise you of those. Your bond on count 1 will be 2,500. Count 2 will be 1,000.
Can I say anything?
It's probably best now, after everything's been reported, it's very directly on me, so it's confidential.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Duan Lowe.
All right, Mr. Lowe, you're here in 2019 MM 8028 AO. You're arrested for resisting an officer without violence and possession of a prescription drug without a prescription. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not possess any illegal substances or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 500. I'll reduce, sorry, bond on count 2, I'll set at 500. The bond on count 1, I'll reduce to 100.
We did qualify Mr. Lowe. We try to release on all counts. No failing to appears.
Statement of objection.
All right. For the fleeing and eluding?
For all counts.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
yes.
All right, Mr. Lowe, I'm gonna put you in pretrial release for that case. In 2019 CT 7181, you're charged with driving while licensed knowingly, suspended or revoked. And I do find probable cause. I'll put you in the pretrial release program. You can't drive without a valid license, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat that case number?
2019 CT 7181. And 2019 CT 7182 and 2019 CT 7183, you're charged with no valid driver's license, attaching a tag to a plate not assigned, and no motor vehicle registration. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna put you in the pretrial release. Can't drive without a valid license, okay? And then finally, 2019 CF 13765AO, charged with fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated. And I do find probable cause. I'll put you in the pretrial release program. So you need to make sure, I've pointed the PD on all those cases, you need to make sure that you comply with everything that pretrial release is gonna make you do. I don't know what it might be, but don't miss any appointments or anything of that nature.
Yes, ma'am.
If you do, chances are it can get revoked, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ron, I just have a question. Okay, so he's here on a dual list, and that case number is 2019 CT 7181? I believe.
Yes, the
Yes.
dual.
Okay, and then he came in on a no valid attached tag and a no motor vehicle registration. What are those case numbers, Judge?
7183 and 7182.
Yeah, it's one more. It's a no, yeah, it's a no valid. Okay.
There's 3 citations.
Okay.
Failed to register, attaching tag not assigned, and a duelist with knowledge. So we should have another case number for it. There is a note here, 2 different citation numbers. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't know what that means. There's 3 citations. I don't have another case number, Mr. Frederick, or I have 3 citations, and then the affidavit delineates all the charges, and there's probable cause, so maybe we'll be able to get you another CT number,
That'd be fine.
so that you can have that, and that pretrial release will have that information, so. So I guess we'll see if we can do that over the lunch break. Okay? Huh? But it won't, doesn't it need a case number for everybody to be able to, for PTR to? No? Okay. Please tell me your name, ma'am.
Danielle McDonough.
All right, Ms. McDonough, you're here in 2019 CF 1911AO, and you were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for a plea hearing on September 23rd, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none on each of the 4 counts. Does she have the PD? Okay, you do have the public defender. In that case, they can file any motions for bond for you in that division. It looks like Division 11. I won't take any action on your or you do have a notice to appear case. So you need to make sure that you take care of that, okay?
And that's in Osceola.
It looks like it, yep.
Is there a court date for that yet, ma'am?
I don't see it. Okay.
Attorney's office, and they'll look that up.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll take care of that.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
President Israel Murad.
All right, Mr. Murad, you're here in 2019 CF 13778. You're arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. I'll stay the bond at 1,000. I won't take any action on your out on release case. Looks like possibly had a court date today? Okay, so, I don't know if that was an arraignment, but you might wanna get in touch with your attorney. My guess is Muna Abraham, is she with the PD's office?
We've already notified Ms. Abraham
Okay,
what's going on today.
excellent. Okay.
Additionally, Your Honor, I did have actually one issue with this case. After reviewing the arrest report, it appears the officer was saying he initially approached Mr. Murad based off the blunt being illegal. Additionally, I know that the state attorney office is having issues prosecuting these cannabis cases simply because the presumptive positive test that's being used cannot indicate between the difference between hemp, which is now legal in Florida, and cannabis. So I believe there actually might be a probable cause issue with this case.
Well, synthetic cannabinoids are completely different.
Understand, but still
Yeah.
test for that THC, which is still tested under the same presumptive positive test.
Probable cause issue?
It's, yeah, I think that that's a, maybe a suppression issue. If he approached him because he thought he had something illegal, cannabis is still illegal. I think that there's probable cause. I don't necessarily, maybe you have some defenses or some motions to be filed?
I'm sure at some point, Your Honor. I just think that might have arisen to the level of a probable cause issue since the actual testing used isn't valid this time.
I don't think so. I think that if it tests positive, it's for synthetic cannabinoids, which is completely different than cannabis. He's saying that it's tested presumptive positive for the presence of synthetic cannabinoids.
I understand, Your Honor. Just my understanding was that it was still testing for that THC level, which is the issue now, because hemp will come up positive as well.
I think that that's a motion that you need to file, either a motion to dismiss or a motion to suppress or both. But I'm not taking action on his out on release case, so he just needs to obviously make sure that he speaks with the attorney, and if you've already spoken with them, then, okay?
So if you have a bond, you can bond that without you know, you pay the bond.
I mean, I have $100. I just don't have any family members here.
You pay the $100 you pledged.
I have it, but I don't have any family here.
So you have to call an office.
Where's your office number?
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Yes, it's Matthew Pearly.
All right, Mr. Perly, you're here in 2019 CF 13762AO. You're arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not return back to, I believe, the Lowe's at 3500 South Cimarron Boulevard. You can't have any contact with any listed victim or witness, and you may not possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. I'll stay the bond at the $1,000. I won't revoke the release in 2019 CF 12813AO. You need to make sure though that you keep in touch with your attorney. You don't have an attorney on that case. You don't, does he? He does? Okay. Is it the PD? Okay, so keep in touch with the public defender if you have any upcoming court dates, okay?
I have an upcoming.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't have the information in front of me, okay?
yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Justin Rios.
All right, Mr. Rio, you're here in 2019 CF 13767AO. You're arrested for carrying a concealed firearm and resisting an officer without violence. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You may not possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. The bond will stay set at $2,500 and $100. And they filed an on-view violation of probation. It looks like you're on probation out of Hillsborough County. And there's probable cause for the on-view VOP. Your bond will be set at none in that case. All right, thank you. Huh? Oh, it has 2? Does he have 2 on-views? Or just 1? Okay, that's all.
With the 2,500, do the 10%.
All right, so sir, please tell me your name.
Lee Thomas Rivers Jr.
All right, Mr. Rivers, you're here in 2018 CF 12828AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for a trial management conference on September 25th, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and forfeited your bond, sets your bond at none. Does he have the PD? Yes, okay. You do have the Public Defender's Office. I do have to advise you of reporting requirements, sir. And in 2019 CF 1737AO, you were also arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for the same pretrial management conference on September 25th, 2019. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. Do you have the PD in that? You do have the Public Defender in both cases, and they can file any motions for bond for you in those cases. And again, I do have to advise you of your reporting requirements, okay? All right, sir, please tell me your name.
Avery Staples.
All right, Mr. Staples, you're here in 2019 MO 1669. You were arrested for camping in a prohibited place. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. Adjudication credit for time served.
All right, Mr. Staples, it's a credit for time served offer. Do you want to accept that?
He's going to accept the offer, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not going to take any action on his out on release case. You do have an arraignment date coming up on October 8th. You know about that, right?
Yes.
Okay, don't miss that.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Staples, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes.
Did you understand everything that was contained in the plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order that you pay those by October 1st, 2020. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck, okay? Don't miss your court date, all right?
Okay.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Stefan Kazama.
All right, Mr. Kazama, you're here in 2019 MM 8026AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender, and you're also here in 19 MO 1670. It's an open container violation, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there any resolution?
I believe the offer for the open container was adjudication credit time served.
Okay.
And no objection to ROR on the cannabis.
Okay, and so I'll ROR you on the cannabis. You can't possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Do you want to accept the offer on
Yes,
the
Your
open
Honor.
container? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Exuma, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, do you find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit? I'll
Yes, ma'am.
adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I'm gonna order that you pay your court costs by October 1st, 2020, okay? That gives
Yes,
you a
Your
year.
Honor.
If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck. Keep in touch with the attorneys, okay?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Not today, just make sure to call this number once you're out.
Okay.
All right, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Good morning, Nikias Oh.
All right, ma'am, you're here in 2019 MM 8027AO, and you're arrested for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And is the state just requesting RORs on all the cannabis cases?
With this case, no objection to RR.
Okay.
I
All
would
right.
say all cases.
Okay, so she's out on release too. Looks like there's a PTD case, so I don't know if that will you'll get kicked out of PTD, I'm not really sure. But I will ROR you. You can't possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. I won't take any action on the PTD case, but you need to make sure you keep in touch with your attorneys. I don't know if this will get you kicked out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't control that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Not today, just make sure once you're close to call this number to get in contact with you, okay?
Okay.
Just, if you get back on the docket, don't miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
If you want, however, these are enhanceable, so you may want to sort of wait off, I guess, as when you want.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Jonathan Tackett.
All right, Mr. Tackett, you're here in 2019 MM 8024AO. You're arrested for petty theft, retail offense. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I don't know if the state will have an offer for you.
No,
Okay. So I am gonna order that you're not to return back to the Value Pawn and Jewelry at 6615 East Colonial Drive or have any contact with any victim or any witness in the case. And the bond will stay set at the $250.
So just do a $100 bond. I know you have other charges as well, so you already first one of those. You did bond.
All right, please tell me your name.
Ericka Alvarez Aponte.
All right, Ms. Alvarez Aponte, you were picked up on an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. The judge did set your bond at none in the case. And Seminole County has 24 hours to come and pick you up, okay, not including weekends or holidays. I don't think that would apply to you. If they don't pick you up in that time frame, you'll come back before a judge, and I won't take any action. I don't know what happened in Seminole County on her out on release case. Just make sure you keep in touch with your attorneys. It looks like you have a court date coming up on October 24th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Pierre Lowry.
Do you know what happened to Brian Huggins?
Beg your pardon?
he's mental health, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset. All right, Mr. Lowry, you were picked up on an Osceola County warrant, and the judge did set your bond at none in the case. And Osceola has 24 hours to come and pick you up, okay? And if they don't pick you up in that time frame, then you'll come back before a judge, okay?
Okay, I've been here 24 hours already.
Oh, is this a reset? Maybe a different case?
And I got another question.
Okay, hold on. Let me do one at a time.
Okay.
So it's 24 hours from the from the time of your initial appearance. So right now, I think
Sorry, they're coming to get us.
they're coming to get him, but he didn't have another IA, correct? Okay, so it's 24 hours from the initial appearance, which is right now.
Oh, okay.
But they are coming to get you,
Okay.
okay?
Can I ask another question?
Sure, if I can answer, I will.
All right. This case was 2 years ago.
I have no information about Osceola County. I don't know anything about the case. I'm not an Osceola
But I
County
mean, if I
judge.
did time for it, how do I get a,
I don't know if it's,
how do you get a
I
warrant for
don't
something
know.
like
So
that?
you do have a warrant. Lowry? It's a failure to appear, so I don't know. 2016 MM2135. Looks like it was a failure to appear. I don't have a date or anything.
2135. Comes up with a different person's name. This was an appeal of, he was found guilty, there was an appeal, bill comes back, a trial date is set. He fails to appear, I guess, I'm assuming the appellate court must have reversed one of the counts.
So I don't know about the procedural history of the case. It sounds like it went up on appeal and was reversed. Do you know anything about all that?
Yeah, I was supposed to be having an
Okay.
appeals
Well,
court.
now, it's already been addressed, and the court made a determination. They obviously reversed it. It went back on the trial docket, and there were some court dates, and apparently you missed one. So you'll have to bring that up with the judge in that case, okay?
He probably did, because he was sentenced in 2016 2 times, so he probably has served some amount of time.
I'm sure you're telling me the truth. I just don't know what else to tell you, other than you gotta bring that up with the judge, okay? All right?
All right.
All right, Mr. Lowry, good luck. All right. Billheimer,
Mr. Billheimer is medical, Your Honor.
all right, we'll reset. And then Lopez Garcia,
Is Spanish interpreter.
okay, I'll hold on to that one. And then Robinson,
She's behavior.
okay. So yesterday was mental health, today behavior. I'm gonna give her one more opportunity to come to court. Well, it's a battery, so it's probably not gonna resolve at IA anyway.
It will not, Your Honor.
Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna find the behavior to be a waiver if she can't conduct herself to come to court. In 2019 MM 8001AO, I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent her. She's not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and she may not return back to American Gyro Place at 707 South Orange Blossom Trail. The bond will stay set at 500. I'm waiving it, it's behavior.
It is already on 33-day motions.
Okay, we have a bond motion.
I think it was a competency motion.
She refused? She refused to attend, Your
All
Honor.
right, well, I know Judge Carter reviewed everything, so I'll just, if you want to reset it back on the docket, or do you want to reset it for tomorrow?
Will we actually be able to waive her appearance and proceed with the motion?
Okay. All right, 2019 MM 7566AO, Tishonia Smith.
Yes. So this was a motion for either a release on no recognizance or, in the alternative, to continue to find incompetence and place defendant on conditional release. I believe in the motion that was created by Ms. Sundstrom, she cited to multiple cases and multiple evaluations that were done throughout her several open cases. I believe there were a couple of evaluations. The most recent one I do have a copy of.
I read it. I read it.
And that one done, I believe,
It's-
by Dr. Zanziger.
It's not stale.
Yes. Additionally, I don't believe she was going to be referred to commitment, not that she would be anyway, since it's a misdemeanor case. There didn't seem to be any findings of permanent incompetency, but there were certainly multiple paragraphs stating that she was not cognizant of what was going on in court, the process, or what she was really being charged with. So for that reason, we request that she either be released ROR or the court would adopt the findings of incompetence and put her on conditional release.
Ms. Kennedy Swanson, okay. So I've reviewed the motion, I've reviewed Dr. Danzinger's report, which is dated June 10th, 2019, making it not a stale report, a report that the court can rely on. And he found that she was not competent to proceed. It appears as though she's getting treatment through Aspire.
I believe that was cited in the
Okay,
motion,
and that's
yes.
part of the order. She's gonna reside with her grandmother at 298 Hastings Street. And there's other conditions in the order that are appropriate. I'd like to set this, and what we're usually doing now is if the state is filing informations, alerting the judge downtown as to the status date, but in order to keep it from being lost in the system. So can we get a status date, I would say, 60 days out? Yeah. Yeah, so I just don't know if that's a weekend or. December 3rd? Okay, so we'll do a status. She does not need to appear here at the jail. I guess we will just figure out if the judge wants her, if they do file on it and it gets transferred downtown, if she needs to report to any status hearings down there. And sometimes they're changing the status dates because of their calendars. So that's the best I can do, Mr. Frederick, for now.
I'm not sure if a notice of related case has been filed yet in the clerk's office. If that hasn't been done yet, we can do that as well. That way it can be all conditional release or otherwise competency motions and statuses can be held in the highest
Yeah.
circuit court
I
case.
don't know how they're doing it downtown,
Okay.
but we'll just set a date for December 3rd. But I'll grant your motion. Okay, there's that. All right. All right, so we have 2019 MM 7196 AO Lamelle Michael Smith. Looks like an information was filed on 9/27. So that will be denied. Oh, all of these are dated September, okay. All right. 2019 CF 12 arms or any ammunition. You can't have any contact with any victim or witness in the case, and I'll stay the bond at the 500.
My mom was a sheriff deputy. My other mom was the police. My birth mom was a sheriff deputy in Charlotte, and my other mom was the police in Albemarle.
All right, that's something you can tell the public defender's office. All right, have a good day, sir. Thank you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Gabriel Barcenas.
All right, do we know what happened to Justice Augustin?
Avery, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll just reset him for tomorrow. Or her, I'm sorry. And all right. Mr. Barcenas, you're here in 2019 CF 13772 AO. You're arrested for grand theft 3rd degree, and looks like removal of a shopping cart without approval as a larceny. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness. You may not return back to the Bravo supermarket at 624 South Dillard Street in Winter Garden, Florida. And the bond will stay set at $1,100. All right, sir, please tell me your name.
Jada.
Okay, do we know what happened to Boris Hall?
He bonded.
Okay, we'll take no action. All right, Mr. Haynes. Mr. Haynes, you're here in 2016 CF 8201AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant for a violation of probation. The judge did set your bond at none in the case. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and they can file any motions for you on your behalf. You'll be seen by Judge Whitehead in a week to 10 days, could be sooner, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's your office number again, so you get back to contact the public defender.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Matthew Oliver.
All right, Mr. Oliver, you're here in 2019 CF 13770AO. And you were arrested for possession of MDMA. I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Did you want me to appoint them? Or are you planning on hiring your own attorney?
Want a public defender.
Okay, I'll appoint the PD to represent you. You can't possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. The bond will stay set at 1,000. I do have to advise you that you do have reporting requirements, sir. I'm not gonna take any action on your out on release case.
What do that mean? I can bond out?
Yeah, you can bond out,
Yes.
since you didn't revoke your bond, so all you gotta do is get a bond in your case.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a good day.
So we can help you, okay?
Can't afford what?
If you can't afford the bond, call us, we'll file for your bond.
I'm being advised Mr. Skeet is in the hospital? Yes. Okay, all right, we'll reset him within 24 hours of his release. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Justin Ward.
All right, Mr. Ward, you're here in 2019 CF 13773AO. You're arrested for possession of MDMA and trespass on property after warning. I do
Yes, ma'am.
find probable cause, and I have a form for the public defender. Is your paycheck $500 a week after taxes?
Well, because I work with pay setters, they're a day I'm a day laborer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it fluctuates, is what you're saying. Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You can't possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You can't go back to that 918 West Colonial Drive, the Family Dollar, okay? You
Oh, yes,
abide
ma'am.
by their trespass signs. And I'll stay the bond at 1,000 and 100.
What's those 200 now?
200 total for the bondsman, okay? You just go downstairs, we'll talk to you about it.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Anthony Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you're here in a couple cases, 2019 CF 13776AO. You're arrested for possession of a firearm and the commission of a felony, possession of cannabis more than 20 grams with a weapon, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You can't possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no contact with any witnesses in the case. The bond will stay at $2,500 on count 1. Count 2 will be $10,000, and count 3 I'll reduce to $100. And it looks like they filed an on-view VOP in 2 cases that you're on probation on based on the new law offenses. I do find probable cause in 2018 CF 3594 and 2019 CF 3144AO. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in those cases as well. They can file any motions on your behalf, and you'll be seen by Judge Whitehead in a week to 10 days, could be sooner, okay? But the
Yes.
bonds will stay at none in those cases at this time.
Wendy Drury bonded, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll take no action on Ms. Drury. please tell me your name, ma'am.
Michaela Patterson.
All right, Ms. Patterson, you are here in 2019 CT 7189AO, and you're arrested for operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I don't know, does the state make offers? I can't remember.
No, the city has to offer, however, yeah, we have an offer, sir.
Okay.
We didn't do an RR because we're out on bond case.
Sorry?
We didn't ask for RR because we're out on bond case.
Okay. So, Ms. Patterson, I'm gonna stay the bond at the $500. I'm not gonna take any action on your out on bond case today, okay? If you get arrested again and you come back and you see a judge might not think too kindly if you have 2 out on bond cases, so be very careful, okay?
Thank you.
Don't miss any court dates and keep in touch with whoever you need to keep in touch with.
You're having trouble pushing the bond, call our office.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Bernard Keaton.
All right, Mr. Keaton, you're here in 2019 MO 1671AO, and you're arrested for possessing and consuming alcohol in a prohibited place. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication credit for time served.
Is it 1 day or, okay.
It'll be on your record.
And I would have to impose court costs. I'll give you a year to pay those off. Okay, Mr. Keaton, do you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we're gonna get plea form in a second from the CO, then we'll fill that out with you.
Excuse me.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Keaton, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you find a factual basis based on the affidavit to accept your plea? I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 1 day in the Orange County Jail with credit for 1 day time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'll order that you pay those by October 1st, 2020, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you,
All
ma'am.
right, have a good day. All right, anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, all right. Good to see you again, Mr. Frederick.
Good to see you too.
All right.